Gandhi should also be seen from a new perspective. 1st December 2021. Gandhi has generally been seen as a poor, loving, spiritual person, a person who has been a supporter of backward ideas or away from the so-called hardcore society. Now is the time when we should see Gandhi as an intellectual, changing our attitude with a new approach. Gandhi's contribution to the world of political science is recognized, but he is often identified as an anti-industry figure in the economic field. In fact, Gandhi feared anomalies arising out of goofy industrialism. This broad-based thought process of theirs is ignored. His contribution to the intellectual elements of political economy and moral philosophy is ignored. Gandhi should be seen as a worthy counterpart and partner of Scotland's enlightened scholar Adam Smith. Adam Smith was a moral philosopher. He is known as the father of economics. Gandhi can also be considered equal to another intellectual veteran English legal historian F. W. Maitland. Gandhi may not be counted among the commentators or the Upanishads and the commentators of the Gita, but he can sometimes be considered a first-class thinker for a unique reinterpretation of these texts. With all this, he has had a healthy practical experience and from Gujarati Baniya roots. It speaks just like other experimentarian Adam Smith. Gandhi and Smith were great supporters of personal initiatives. He kept it away from the intervention of the government and considered it necessary to create money. At Gandhi's time, many Indians were living a life of dense Kangali, and Gandhi thought that the 12 ways out of it were money generation. Both scholars saw money as a means and were concerned about the moral imperative surrounding the use of money. Gandhi's view of wealth has been directly a product of his love for the Ishavasya Upanishads. In his uniquely generous way, he also took inspiration from the teaching of Mark and Matthew. In the contemporary world, Gandhi's trusteeship theory should be considered amid attacks on the moral basis of market capitalism. Barrister Gandhi had derived many of his views on trusteeship from the English law tradition and the principle of equity. These principles are absent from the continental legal tradition. Trusteeship can also be a solution to the two-century agency problem in economics. Trusteeship can also be distorted to address the moral puzzle at the heart of capitalism as an alternative to socialism. He demanded that the de-wealth was redeclared. They used trusteeship or donation instead of responsibility. It should be seen from an important point of view because it was not superficial but a change that could become an example. It will be a tribute to Gandhi's originality. Gandhi was one of the early people who asked a tripartite conflict and balance of interest by presenting a consumer behind the capital labor deadlock as a third party. Supporters of fashionable principles such as stakeholder capitalism may be surprised to know that Gandhi had guessed it too. Trusteeship is also important with a view of transferring resources from one generation to another. It can also be environmentally dear. In Gujarat, there is a tradition of creating water conservation tools like style-like wells for the welfare of the present and future generation. The rich of the present age should also do so for the future generation. Gandhi has always praised such practices. Gandhi's effort with human capital development and identify economics can be called a subgroup of behavioral economics. Gandhi can be criticized for many strange habits. This may also include exploitations of women in a strange way, but he can also be seen as a defender of feminist economics. Some may accuse him of being a supporter of the caste system, but using the lens of his economic can help us read his principles more closely. It is time we see Gandhi as an intellectual beyond merely the gentle father of one nation. Based on Jayatith Rao's article published in the Times of India, September 26, 2020.